Hello, hello. I hope everybody's doing good today. I would like to say, first of all, thank you to everybody who has subscribed to me on YouTube, Sarah Dawn Hall being the most recent one. That is dope, and I appreciate you. And today we're going to be doing sprinties. We're doing them sprintos. I feel like a changed fucking person now that I don't have to deal with my portfolio anymore. Which is pretty fucking sweet. Let me get all my metal dice to do these sprinties. Let's see. Gotta roll my dice to figure out how long we're gonna be working on stuff. 18 minutes is pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, I would say. Pretty gooda. Okay. So, let me figure out. I think I'm gonna just start to open all of these, because obviously, so this one looks like it's been edited. If I remember right, it was like 36 was where I left off. That one also has been edited. That one too. But it looks like it hasn't been listened to. Measure RMS. Oops. Effect. Let's do that. Eventually, I will get to the point where I will be able to also stream on TikTok too, I think, but I don't know. I don't know about none of that right now. If I remember right, TikTok was like really lame and was not doing it for me. Let me save this. Okay, that's saved. File open. And then let me look at chapter 37. I think this has also been, yep, edited. Look at that. Did I get through all of these? Did I get through everything? I think maybe I did. Is that what happened? Oh, I'll be damned. Look at that. Crazy. If this would go, that'd be cool. Okay, so then what I'm gonna do is I have to just kind of keep going here, and then I have to record some of these chapters, but what I need to do is I also need to record room tone as well. So that's going to be really annoying. What if... Can I download room tone off of the internet? Wait. Is that a real thing that I can do? Oh my god. Well, but like... They're all really short. I don't want vacuum cleaning or laugh track material. Also, hi, Cal. Enjoy your food. Oh, I realize I can't hear this. And it's only a minute. Now it's probably for the best that I just record my own. Hi, Gabby. How are you? I hope you're doing good. I gotta listen to some of this room tone. So, sorry, give me just a second. I'm gonna be pausing the music. Ugh, gross. Oh, that's really bad. Okay, can I get maybe like a 5 to 8 minute one? Oof, Jesus. Sorry, y'all can't hear what I'm hearing, but that was like a high-pitched... Ew, this is so bad. Okay, just kidding. I'm recording my own room tone. That's horrendous. Wow, that was really bad. Wow, that was bad. Hi, Riddle. How are you today? Oh, guess who doesn't have anything to hydrate with right now? I might go and get, some water or some coffee, though. I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, just trying to move forward. I got done with my, portfolio, finally, for, my grad school. So that's crazy, and, this is kind of what it looks like here. So I have this entire book, effectively, of, all of the art that I did, and also my resume, and what the story is about, and then all of my art inside. So that was crazy, and it was a hell of a lot of work. And now I am free. I am free of the sin, which is really good. That's it. Wow. So fucking crazy. But we're going to be working on audiobooks today. Yeah, so for those of you who have not been in a sprint stream before, the way that sprints work is I roll dice, And then I turn on this timer that's at the top of the screen above my head, and then we are going to work for that amount of time. So feel free to draw, to write, to play games, or do whatever you want to do. And then once the timer is up, I will come back and we can chat and talk and do all of that other good stuff. This stream in particular, I may record new stuff, but probably I'll just be editing these other chapters that I have left. I'm going to be editing my audiobook today. So that's what I got going on. So feel free to do all that. I'm gonna go get something probably to hydrate myself with, as Cal redeemed a hydrate right out the gate. So be sure to stay hydrated today. And then I'm just gonna jump right in to the sprints today. So I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself, and let's get started on working. Let me know what you're working on in the chat, and then I will see you at the other end of these sprints. Hi, Poppycorn. Welcome into the stream. Y'all on the stream during these sprints might hear me stop and say hello to everyone. We're in the middle of a sprint right now. If you're unfamiliar with sprints, it's a work period. It's kind of like a productivity, like Pomodoro thing. So we're going to be working for like 14 more minutes. But welcome in, and feel free to work on whatever projects you're working on. I'm currently editing an audiobook, and then we'll be back in about 14 minutes to chat and say hi. But thank you so much for stopping into the stream, and it's great to see you. Okay, not to distract like super bad during the sprint, but I have a question for you all. Would you rather listen to Spotify audio if you're on Twitch, and then I recognize on YouTube it's just quiet, or would you rather listen to my audiobook recording? Let me know in the chat, and I can change things up if you all want to like listen to something different because I realize I've been playing music over on the Twitch side, but like if we want to listen to this audiobook and you guys want to hear my ridiculous stupid voice recording this audiobook, please let me know. But let me know in the chat what you prefer to listen to because I don't want the audiobook to be too distracting for those of you that are working. So let me know. Thank you so much for that follow, Poppycorn. Let me see. So it looks like I'm seeing an either. Okay, because if I do one, so unfortunately I can't play Spotify over on YouTube because then I get flagged for copyright infringement, which is very sad. However, I can play just this audio. So let me know if this is too distracting. Let me figure out. Oh, hold on. Let me do desktop audio. We're going to say properties. And it's whatever is coming out of the Yeti stereo microphone. Let me know if that's too loud, too quiet.
And that they need to be stopped, I said.
But there's the book. That's for you guys.
Follow me, Lilia commended. I saw the thing go this way. We dashed through town, watching scorched residents of Neston flee their burning homes until we arrived in the square where we had partaken in the festival put on by the burgomaster. Standing before the stockade, a tall, broad-shouldered figure loomed over the burgomaster's wife, holding her by the hair.
Remember me? Or would you forget your own son?
He growled. Lazar, the burgomaster's wife stammered. I thought you were dead.
So did a lot of people.
I did not recognize him. I had never seen him in my life. His body silhouetted by fire, he raised a large, molten fist to strike down his mother. Cracked rock that glimmered with volcanic heat under the surface replaced the skin of his right hand and forearm. Lilia stormed into the square, her shield held high, and screamed, "Stop!" Lazar, before turning his mother's brain to putty with his massive fist, turned to look over his shoulder. When he saw her there, he grinned.
Ah. Sister. Ah. Sister.
We may be related by blood, but you are not my brother, Lilia cried. You slaughtered the only family I had in cold blood, you monster.
That old religious fanatic you grew up with could not have protected you from any of this,
Lazar growled. You were raised in the lap of luxury, and this is how you repay your family?
The burgomaster and his wreckage of a family were never kind to me. They mean nothing.
What? I exclaimed. This entire encounter could not get any weirder. He did look like her, but he looked nothing like the burgomaster's wife. She was pale of face and hair, and he dark. Lilia had grown up with a holy man in the town of Starkovia. I sent a fledgling vampire to torment her at some point, but Lazar had never been in the picture. I had no idea they were related. They must have been separated at birth. I thought we killed you.
Hi Viridian, welcome into the stream today. Yeah, we're going over my audiobook, so feel free to chill out and work for like 8 more minutes and then write, do whatever you need to do. We're doing some productivity sprints today, so hopefully we'll get some work done. Enjoy the stream.
She spat.
It seems all my family is surprised these days. Perhaps you should follow through with what you start.
Why? Lilia demanded. Why do all of this? I'm not going to give you an explanation. I've spent too much time wasting words. I saw his hand flinch, indicating a strike, and I was not going to let him have it. His molten hand looked like it would not fare too well against the cold, so I shot out my good old trusty icicle. I cast a spell, and ice formed, and in an unfortunate turn of events, he stepped out of the way, the icy projectile grazing past his nose. Yura kept his rapier in its scabbard, not bothering with it this time. He dashed toward Lazar, claws out and ready to strike. He missed Lazar, who, cat-like, dodged that too. This was going to be a hell of a fight. Awoken, to me, he cried. Wow, what a terrible name for a cult. A few of his lackeys ran onto the scene, ready to tear us apart. He dove at Yura, ready to eliminate an opponent, a smile on his face. His eyes glowed eerily in the light as he swung, his fist leaving a trail of magma in the air. His first swipe missed, but the second did not. Yura was knocked across the battlefield, soaring through the air. One of the group of cultists that had just entered the battlefield went for Urien. A few of his friends followed. Their curved blades cut his skin, but he dodged out of the way of most of the strikes. Urien and Astrid screamed out the same spell, and a bubble formed around the Burgomaster's wife, protecting her from harm. Yura also benefited from the magic and glimmered in the light. Go, Lilia shouted. Cast whatever you've got. Astrid took a few hits as we tumbled with our own set of cultists. Astrid, back up, I commanded. Astrid did as she was told and put a shield up around herself. Seeing as Lazar danced around my other attacks, I focused on the cultists. These ones looked very much alive, but all my vampiric powers had been taken away. I cursed my lack of weaponry and threw another chunk of ice. The icicle launched its way through a cultist's eye and out the back of their skull, and they fell to the ground in a slump. This time, Yura did not miss. He sliced through the shirtless torso of Lazar, easily past the scant amount of armor he had on, and cut him good with sharp fingernails and magic. Lazar hissed out in pain and then took off into the air, seemingly not by physical means. Urien batted away cultists undeterred by their blades and changed the tide of battle with his next spell. A shockwave shot through the entire square. Lazar had managed to fly out of the way of the attack just in time, and at Urien's hand several cultists fell. Yura was knocked back, despite his magic shield, but landed on his feet as Urien's spell rippled across the battlefield. The Burgomaster's wife cried out and covered her head as chaos exploded around her. Lilia pushed past cultists to stand by the Lady Burgomaster's side, her shield up. This way, my lady, she cried. Follow me to safety. Lilia rushed off the battlefield, securing the hostage. Cultists ignored me and chased Astrid down, but her shield protected her from their blades. As we dodged away from their strikes, she turned to me. She reached her fingers out and barely touched me as I took a step closer to her. Magic ran through my body, and she nodded. There, she said. Now you'll be safe. Then, at her command, her scythe burst forth from magical ether. It slashed into the cultist nearest to her. Boy, was I proud. Unfortunately, having been hit once, the chap wasn't keen on being hit again. He stepped out of the way of my icy barrage, and I cursed my inability to fight. I tried everything, turning into a bat, mist form, my teeth, everything. My stomach churned in frustration at my lack of usefulness. Now, Yura could not reach Lazar, so he turned his focus to the cultists around him. One fell at the stroke of his claws. I envied Yura's ability to fight, as blood covered Yura's face and as blood fell at the stroke of his claws. Quiet, and we looked up. Our enemy was nowhere to be found. Yura's ability to fight. As blood covered Yura's face and coat, Lazar turned to look at him. "You," he called. Lazar turned to look at him. "You," he called. "Vampire." Yura and I both raised our heads to look, and I found that it was not me he called for. Suddenly, Yura dropped to his knees. He gripped his ears as though someone was shouting at him, and he trembled there for a moment. After whatever barrage he suffered from stopped, he turned to look at us. Something was wrong. Urian drew Reckoning from his chest and charged at the cultist he could reach. An emissary of darkness fell at his blade. The cultist nearest to us continued to batter at Astrid, but she stood firm. "I'm going to try something new," she called. She pulled her spellbook from her satchel and thumbed for a prayer, holding her arm out. She muttered something under her breath, and the air sparkled around where she stood. As if a meteor had been called, a sunbeam shot onto the battlefield, near Astrid, but fortunately far enough away from me, and a large figure wearing golden, glittering armor appeared. Upon looking at it, the thing shimmered, translucent, shapes of things behind it glimmering ghostly through its form. The sun symbol, the symbol of a Halden, shone on its shield. "Astrid, that's amazing," I called out. "I finally figured this spell out."
All right, that's it for the sprint. How did everybody do? Also, let me know if that was too distracting. I recognize that on YouTube there is no Spotify audio, which is, like, really boring, I recognize, for these sprints, because it's just, like, dead fucking silence. Also, Poppycorn, that's super exciting that you're in here. Thank you for joining. It's, like, crazy now all of a sudden that I'm teaching, and I'm like, oh, a student. So, hi. It's me in the wild. I no longer got the food shakes. Yeah, that's pretty good. We don't like the food shakes. No food shakes. I also don't got the food shakes. Yep, Jace is the best and made us oatmeal. The oots. Do not eat the oots, brother. That's all I have to say. Nice. We can harvest our vegetables. So, do we harvest all of it?
2/3.
2/3. Wow, that's so cool.
Because then it'll keep growing.
We have an indoor hydroponic garden, and it's very fancy. It's so fucking cool. It's just really neat. Oh, you're okay, Jamie. Hello, hello. Welcome back in. I got some good work done. I'm almost done with chapter 34. So, slowly but surely, I might not have to record room tone today. Eventually, I'm gonna have to do that. As of right now, the Kickstarter is still in, like, late pledge. So, I'm waiting to close that out, which is on the 13th, and then, it is done. So that's pretty crazy. I had the saddest feta on my eggs. Oh no, what happened? That is so tragic. Yeah, the feta from Arash was super, super good. It was that Bulgarian feta. It's hardcore. Yeah, for those of you in the stream who are unfamiliar with this whole process, I'm doing an audiobook of my book King of Dust. Here, I'll drag this over here so y'all can see. I released this book last year. Get out of here. Sorry, Netflix decided to play randomly. Yeah, I released the paperback and the hardcover version of this book last year. And then now I'm releasing the audiobook version. So this was the paperback and then this was the hardcover. And it was so popular that I was like, you know what, I guess I'll just read an audiobook, because so many people are like, yeah, I just don't read. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And I recognize this is going to be good for, like, accessibility reasons, but then also to trying to get more adults who just don't have time to read into the book, because it's really silly, and I think people would like it a lot. So, it's definitely been my bestseller. Oh no, for whatever reason the feta I got tastes like LaCroix made it. No! That's so cursed. I'm so sorry. Oh, that's so sad. Womp womp. Wow. Wow. Also, I don't know if I said, but thank you so much, Poppycorn, for the follow on Twitch. That was very kind. It makes my mouth sad with sympathy. Like, yeah, there's that, like, German term for secondhand embarrassment. We need a term for secondhand sadness. Where it's just like, oh, or disappointment, truly. Secondhand disappointment, like, true. Yep. Thankfully, I haven't had to re-record anything today. These last couple of chapters for this book are really long. So I don't suspect that I'll be doing any recording today. I might record a closer, but I don't know. We're gonna see how it goes. I have to go and listen to the In the Lives of Puppets audiobook and see what they did for their last chapter. Oh my god, another person on fanfiction.net. Who are you? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I may have visual aphantasia, but my ability to imagine, touch, and taste are impeccable. It is both a blessing and a curse. Is this Ratatouille? I wanted the feta to shine, and it did not. That is very sad. Truly. Oh, we gotta go get those ostrich steaks today. That's another thing that we could and should do, actually. I forgot that was... Oh, I also ran out of milk and coffee creamer. Okay, we can go to the store. Tula store. At least it had nutrients. That is so sad. Yeah, that's rough. That is the sad times. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Nutritional paste, my favorite. Yeah, that's pretty rough. That's rough. Oh god, no, Cal, what are you sending me? I love how these bots don't even know how to write either. I'm like, get away from me. That's so terrifying. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's like, go away. No one likes you. That reminds me that this morning I made like an entire, like, joke TikTok about people asking for requests, and then when you tell them I only do work for pay, and then they get all offended and mad. I love how the two comments are one actual artist being like, but the exposure, and then the other one is all caps, "Can I buy your services, please?" And I'm like, yes, perfect, exactly what I want. I was like, it's on my website. If you want commissions or if you need editing services, it's on my website. Go on, get. It's always fanfiction.net. I feel like fanfiction, like everybody dogs on Wattpad, but I'm like, I don't know how to tell you that fanfiction.net and AO3 somehow have worse bots. Like, at least the bots on Wattpad are like, oh, have you made any sales on your book? I can help you promote your thing. And it's like really annoying because they're just fake book marketers. But like, the fanfic.net bots are on a whole other level. Have you checked out VGen? I'm familiar with VGen, yes, but I am way too lazy to make a, like, VTuber model. And also, too, I don't have enough money to pay somebody, like, I know someone who makes the most incredible VTuber models ever. Citrix Singer 76 is sometimes in this chat, and their VTuber models are just absolutely incredible looking. They're just really great. I am just incredibly poor, and I'm trying to move out of the country, so all of my money goes to that. But I do love VTubers, and I think that they are very, very cool. Oh, I see. Oh, to sell your art. That's interesting. Yeah, no, I sell my art in a load of different places. Honestly, most of the time when I get commissions, it's actually through Twitch. Yeah, because I don't have a problem getting commissions. What I have a problem with is people asking me to draw stuff for free when, like, over here on, like, I had to add this over here on the side of all of my commissions prices, and then I have, like, this thing down here at the bottom, too, that's like, it's $10 for a doodle, and then people will come in here and be like, yeah, you should do this thing for me for free, and I'm like, no! Get out of here! Be gone, demon! Like... Oh, I got blackberry compote from Europa Market. Oh, yes, that sounds very, very nice. Throw that in some black tea. It's feral. Yeah, feral is a good word for that. That's so true. Feral. Ah, yes, Lemonade Prince. You're right. They did change their username, I think, on Twitch. You are right. Yeah, I also probably am going to be streaming some other stuff, some 18+ stuff over on Picardo. And they also have a store over there. Picardo, I realize, is like DeviantArt, but considerably less garbage. So that's really cool. And my husband and I have like a joint account that we both do art through over there. And like I have no followers or anything on there. I'm assuming that that will not happen until I start streaming. But it is very neat that they have like a really cool system and community. There are not very many users, but I'd rather have a site have a lower user base than whatever DeviantArt is doing. Because, like, DeviantArt is literally just all AI slop now. You're the only one, Cal. You're our absolute stan over there. It's you, and you are the representative of the Picardo army right now. The bar is in hell, but yes, Picardo is great. That is so... Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yep. So when I start going over there, now that I'm done with my grad portfolio, which is a huge relief, I'm going to have significantly more time to stream stuff. And I have to try and figure out, because normally on Tuesdays and Thursdays, or sorry, Mondays and Thursdays, I normally am working on, like, schoolwork. And, like, this Thursday, for example, I'm not going to have any schoolwork to work on, so I'm trying to figure out if I want to do multiple days of working on Heaven's Equal, or if that's fine. I think one of the days, either Monday or Thursday is going to be an NSFW day, and it's probably going to be Monday. And then that'll be like a Picardo stream, and then Thursday will be whatever nonsense we decide to work on, whether that's like commissions or whatever. There is an option to reduce AI slop from showing up, though. Yeah, see, Gamby, as an avid user of DeviantArt, it does not stop it from happening, because all people have to do is check not made with AI tools, and DeviantArt is not flagging or taking down any of the art that has been made with AI. The only ones that they're able to stop are the ones that are made with their, I think it's called like Unicorn, which is their AI art generator. And that's the only thing that they're able to say, nope, this was made with Unicorn, so we know it's for sure 100% AI and no questions asked. But unfortunately, yeah, they don't care about stopping any of the other stuff that's going through. And like all DeviantArt is effectively 99% AI now. And it's a shame because I get really good, their algorithm improved significantly. Which is very cool, but then unfortunately, it doesn't matter because people want you to produce artwork at such a rate that, like, if they want to pay you for art, they would rather go and follow an art account. Like, I think about comparatively other NSFW accounts that are out there that, like, on DeviantArt, I remember they released a thing that they were like, yes, our top user makes $13,000 a month selling their artwork. Isn't that so cool? And then you go and look at their account, and it's literally all AI-generated anime boobies. That's it. That's what they're selling for $13,000. And I was like, whoo boy, like, dang. And then also, too, they're scraping literally everything. You have to, like, manually turn off their ability to scrape over on DeviantArt, so it's kind of a mess. Yeah, if Rule 34 can filter out the AI, DeviantArt should figure it out. That's pretty bad. Also, I like the question mark confusion eyeballs. Like, that's more, that's it. I know that you corrected yourself. I don't think that you needed to. The confusion is upsetting to me. That's like the equivalent of, wait, where's my Atari emote? It's this one. It's that. Confusion and side eye. I can't. All right, let me roll for another sprint here. It's a shame because artists, yeah, it used to be on there. That was the site for artists. Yeah, I loved being on DeviantArt. I've been on DeviantArt since 2008. I'm ancient. Like, it's been a long time, you know, and it was really sad to watch them go in that direction. And there are other sites that I like if you're looking for a more professional portfolio style site, your best designs are either, your best options are either Behance or Kara or Kara. I've been hearing people call this like Kara. But what I like about it is if you go to your profile, it's this very, very nice, beautifully curated looking like portfolio here. And it's lovely. Like, there's not very many people here, but I do like using it as a place to just kind of put my portfolio, other than your own, like, website. I would recommend, like, Kara, or of course, if you're looking for, you know, Behance. Like, this is a good example of somebody's, like, posts on Behance. Let me go look at Lissy Marlin. She's a professional children's book illustrator, but you can see how they have, she doesn't even have that many projects here on Behance, but you can organize things by projects, which is really, really nice. So this is all of her personal work, and you can just kind of scroll through, and it's like a little gallery collection. So it's a bunch of mini portfolios. It functions less like a DeviantArt gallery. This is very beautiful. Less like a DeviantArt gallery and more like a traditional portfolio where you're just kind of like scrolling through it. But yeah, those are my two favorites personally. I never thought about going on DeviantArt because of all the controversy. Yeah, now it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And people are just looking for like quick follows. All they're looking for on DeviantArt is AI generated NSFW content. So if you produce anything other than that, it's not really like, Dream Up, thank you. The symbol for Dream Up is the unicorn, so I always confuse the two. Yeah, you can tell how little I actually care about DeviantArt and their stupid AI image generator. It's just so sad. It's just really, it was a cool place, and then now it is not a cool place no more. And I think we've been kind of struggling to try and figure out, like, what we're going to use to replace it. You know, like, the question is, like, Tumblr's still somehow going strong. Tumblr's pretty cool. The algorithm is not that great, so trying to get, like, followers there is really, really difficult. And then, unfortunately, Blue Sky, I know that they have been talking about, I think Jamie brought it up. There's a push for an Instagram version of Blue Sky, which is really cool, and I think that might be the next thing, to be quite honest, because Blue Sky is doing so well. But it's still not a gallery, you know? It is very sad. But that being said, let's jump into another sprint and let's get to work in here. Let's go ahead and do that. Oh, it's coming out soon, actually. Yeah, you'll have to let me know when that's happening because I'm very curious. I use Skylight, that has some bugs right now. It's called Flashes. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll have to kind of keep an eye out for that. But yeah, Skylight is like Blue Sky's, it's their TikTok. But really, it's just Blue Sky, but only it filters out videos, which is interesting. But yeah, all right. Well, I'm going to jump into this next sprint, so let's work for like 13 minutes, and then we will touch base when we all come back. Here we go.
Her glimmering butterfly scythe tore through a pesky cultist, slicing them through as it passed. I finished off the last one with a hearty punch, knocking them right in the nose. Who needed vampire powers when I had fist? Unfortunately, amid all the chaos, Yura ran at Urien. Yura attempted to hold Urien down but failed as they struggled with each other. And when all grew quiet and we looked up, our enemy was nowhere to be found. "Attack the Guardian," the voice boomed. "Don't let me down." "Yura, snap out of it." Urien dodged around Yura's hands, not wanting to hurt him. Urien held Reckoning up and away from himself in case Yura accidentally hurt himself on it. After Yura nearly grazed his hand on the blade, Urien slammed Reckoning back into his tattoo to protect him. The cultist did as the hand commanded, and ran at Astrid's Guardian. As soon as they approached, Astrid's Guardian went to work. The first cultist went up in smoke, blasted by holy light that shot from the helmet of the Guardian. The second one fared no better. The scene fell quiet, save for the crackle of fire after they had been incinerated. The entire battlefield had been cleared of enemies, and our next step was to find Lazar. "Where did he go?" Lilia cried. She looked to the sky, but seemed to find nothing there. "Yura!" Astrid cried. She readied herself for any healing needed and put her fists up. Her eyes darted between Yura and Urien, unsure if she should interfere. I froze. I did not know what to do. This time, Urien was not so lucky. Yura grappled him and held him down. I knew what was coming next. Yura reared his head back, teeth long and sharp, and bit down into Urien. The bite was long, hard, and deep, and looked like it hurt. Urien's face paled as Yura sucked blood out of him, showing no signs of stopping. Out of the corner of my eye, something swiped at me. Astrid saw it too, and we readied our attacks. Cultists kept us distracted, and I began to sweat. Was I getting tired? Yura held Urien fast. As Urien struggled there, he grappled for Reckoning again. Lilia, who cared not for Yura or his safety, went in swinging. Her sword hit Yura broadly across his chest, and when it hit, radiant light flashed out of it. And that was when I saw it. As she turned her back to me, the shimmering symbol of a Halden glimmered on the back of her capelet. This blow knocked Yura from Urien, but she did not stop there. If there was one thing Lilia Sorensen hated, it was vampires. With another stroke, Yura had been knocked to the ground, unconscious or dead, I did not know. He bled out slowly, his heart not pumping strong enough to push blood from his body, but otherwise laid still. "Miss Sorensen! No!" Astrid cried. She ran to Yura where he lay, but Lilia stepped in between them. Despite not being a skilled warrior, Astrid dodged under Lilia's arm and rushed to him anyway. She was about to heal him when Lilia raised her voice. "Stop. Don't heal him. He needs help," Astrid argued. I ran to Astrid's side to back her up if she needed it. He's under the control of another demon, and you'd really save a vampire's life? He nearly killed your friend. He's an unholy thing, miss. Let him die. Astrid looked torn for a moment. I wondered what she would do, and she took a few steps back from him. I swallowed thickly. This wasn't good. Lilia, don't kill him. Leave him here until we can kill the Tsar, I demanded. I looked around as quickly as I could for the hand, but could see nor hear him anywhere. We need to find this guy, friends. We need to find this guy, friends, sooner than later. How do we know you're not one of them? Lilia demanded. Vampire scum. Miss Sorensen, please. Urian coughed, covering the open wound on his neck in an attempt to stop the bleeding. He looked a bit paler than usual, but otherwise fine. I'm fine. Lilia stormed up to me and put her sword to my throat. I raised my hands cautiously in defense. You, she growled. You're up to something, I know it. I can smell it. Please, I begged. Look, I swear I have nothing to do with this. The demon-armed relation of yours seems to have... He is not my brother. He tried to assault me and then tried to kill me. We were separated when we were... And tried to kill me. We were separated when we were very young. I thought he was eaten by wolves. We met again as adults, and when I wouldn't return his affections, he tried to murder me in my sleep. I should have finished the job when I had a chance. Whoa, talk about family issues. Out of nowhere, a rumble shook through the ground. A blistering crack opened up in the square, magma running through it and out of it, bubbling and popping in heat. An extra large hole opened right underneath the gallows, swallowing the structure up, and something climbed from the lava. First came a horned head, then two leathery wings, and finally, the most terrifying monstrosity I had ever seen. All of the illustrations of demons I had ever seen in books had not prepared me for this. Spines of horn and bone protruded from its skin at the joints, and long obsidian claws extended from the tips of its fingers. A black tar dripped from its mouth, and glowing eyes honed in on us. Feast upon my newfound power, sister. Lazar's voice grated from somewhere. My new friend has been dying to meet you. You will regret ever setting foot in this place. Chapter 35. The demon that crawled its way out of the earth lumbered toward Urian. A dark shield spell swirled weakly around Urian, but the monstrosity's claws slid straight through him and batted him across the square. Urian, having had a massive chunk taken out of his shoulder, wobbled there, looking on the edge of death. With the bat of the monstrosity's claw, Urian was knocked across the battlefield. Lilia Sorensen went charging into battle, releasing Astrid from her grip. No fear. Her weapon lit up along with the Halden symbol on her armor, shredding light as she charged at the demon. She missed the first hit, but the sword exploded in light on the second. Astrid ignored Lilia's request, despite having been told to fear the undead. Healing light radiated from her body, and we were each touched by her magic. I looked down at myself, hoping to find minor bruises. Or something else. Healing light radiated from her body, and we were each touched by her magic. I looked down at myself, hoping to find minor bruises and cuts healed, but to no avail. Either she was wearing out, or something else was wrong. Yira did not get up. Her spell had worked before, and my heart jumped in my throat. Did that mean he was dead? Honestly and truly dead. Astrid's scythe did what it did best. It soared through the air at dangerous speeds. It cut through the legs of the beast viciously. I put a hand up and aimed at the monstrosity, hoping to take it down. My spell flew through the air, intent of death on its wings, but the creature managed to step out of the way. Some of my necrotic death magic bubbled on its skin, but it had avoided most of the damage. And Lazar just sat back. He landed on a nearby rooftop that was not engulfed in flame, and just watched, with a smile on his face, making himself known to me again. What a smug bastard. The demon called down a ball of flame with one pointed, clawed fingertip. Urien was knocked to his knees, completely incapacitated by the blow. Reckoning lay by his side, glimmering dimly in the light. The rest of us were knocked asunder, into buildings and to the edges of the battlefield. This did not deter Lilia. She charged back into battle again, whacking at the torso of the monster as if it were a tree trunk. She hit gloriously, radiating light exploding around her not once but twice. I remember the scared little girl I had sent Urien and his companions after. This was not her. Astrid cried out to her gods, praying for some kind of help. I don't know if it came. Her scythe sliced the shoulder of the demon. Magic flew from my fingertips again. It saw the spell coming, and it managed to dodge most of the blast. Lazar sat up as he watched from the rooftop. Was he getting nervous? The demon had decided it had enough of Lilia. Its massive maw missed her as she dove out of the way. A clawed hand came down on her, though, and punched a dent in her armor. The creature's tail followed. She coughed up blood. I could smell it even at that distance. And yet, Lilia rose from where she had been hit, angry and determined. She charged again, a little bit of a limp in her step this time. She missed. Her blade swung for the monster's torso, but it stepped aside. The second landed. It cried out in pain as the radiant light stung it. Astrid rushed to Urien's side, despite the danger that it posed to her, and touched him gently, hands alight with magic. He did not rise, but it was likely she saved his life. I had to do something other than just stand there.
Alrighty, how did we do? I finished chapter 34, and now I am on chapter 35. This chapter's not so bad in length. 34 is long, and then 36 and 37, I think, are super long, and then 38 is not as long. So, I am trapped. What do I do with all these cakes I made? I am stuck in them. Oh, also, Riddle, if you're still here, I wanted to say thank you again on stream for your fan art because it's so great. And if everybody has not seen this absolute masterpiece, please enjoy. Look at look at this little guy. Look at this little dude. It's so good. It's so awesome. I love all the frogs. He's so mad. It's so brilliant. So thank you again. This is really, really cool. I love it so much. Doing a pixel GIF, just have to color now. Heck yeah. That's amazing. I do like them Giphies. It is truly lore accurate Atari. It's true. He's so sweet. He's so dumb. I'm trying to think of like best Atari quotes in the entire book. And it's got to be like, "Oh, that's hot." No, this is like fire in the Taco Bell hot. Like that's got to be one of my favorite ones. He mostly does a lot of stupid quotes. Like I feel like the "You can be my wingman anytime" quote is stupid. He has some of the best zingy one-liners in the entire thing. He's very angry, though. He also has some of the best, like, rage monologues in the novel as well. Ugh, I have to do so much, really annoying querying. It'd be more lore accurate if he was covered in mega roaches, but in a cute way like Wally. That's so rough. Yeah, I don't know how the cockroaches did. I feel like some of the animals probably survived on Earth, but definitely the fish are dead. Well, the deep sea fish are probably fine. Surface fish, dead. Coral reefs, definitely dead. Most, like, I would say average flora, probably dead. I think some reptiles survived. Gators survived. Probably a lot of like little lizards and frogs definitely survived. Bugs survived. Large mammals definitely dead. I'm trying to think of what else probably didn't make it. Rodents survived. Definitely those guys lived. Birds probably also lived. Because it wasn't like they were hit with a meteor. It was just an unfortunately cataclysmic event. Anything at the poles, dead. That's not great. Yeah, so Atari's got some... I think Atari, he does have access to frogs. But he also lives in Southern California, so, like, I feel like there aren't really that many animals over there anyway, other than bugs and lizards, so... The mall's got that swamp stank. It's fine. He's fine. Totally fine. Yeah, so my next step for that novel is going and just querying a billion different agents and seeing how that goes. I've got a list of a bunch of them, and I just have to kind of keep on top of it and then just keep writing other manuscripts while I'm working on it. Everybody voted on Appetite next, and because that thing was previously published, I think because the changes are going to be so severe, like, I probably could query it if I wanted to, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to still probably put it through to the Waddies, and if it doesn't do anything there, then query. And that'll be my plan. And that's okay. It probably was only, like, the basement level of the mall that was, like, gross. We're talking, like, The Last of Us stuff down there, I think. It's fine. It's okay. He's okay. The mall basement is where all the frogs live. I don't think that there's a lot of frogs in California, Southern California. Unless he unleashed some in there, in which case, that is not beyond the realm of possibility. He's like, I love you guys, and then just chucks them in there. He wanted some pets. His pet is one of those Victoria's Secret cats. Actually, like literally canonically. Hold on. Victoria's Secret cat. It's not the dog. There was a cat at some point. And it had polka dots on it. So it was very similar to this Victoria's Secret dog. I'm never going to be able to find it. I love all the weird AI-generated images. But yes, I did indeed see at some point in a Victoria's Secret, rather than the dog, it was a stuffed cat similar to this. Oh, there's loads of frogs down there. There you go. I haven't spent a lot of time in Southern California, so that's news to me. That is very cool, though. Atari can roll in the frogs. The most amount of frogs I've ever been around was when I was in Maryland. Maryland's got a shitload of frogs. There are frogs everywhere. Yeah, that's true. Well, the thing is, I guess when I think of, like, Los Angeles, because he's, like, around the, let's see, where is that? What base is that? It is the Vandenberg Space Force Base. Yeah, Vandenberg Space Force Base is where he is at, or adjacent to. And that thing is, if we look at the map, wow. Over in, because he would have walked to Santa Maria. So this is technically where he is at, is Santa Maria. And the mall that he is at, where is it? It is this monstrosity. Yeah, the Santa Maria Town Center. Specifically. This is where he lives. So, imagine this, but completely abandoned and horrifying. Oh my god, it's a Build-A-Bear. Or no, wait, this is not. Never mind. Just kidding. That was disappointing. I got really excited. But yeah, imagine this. This particular image that this person, or that Google took. I think about this particular image a lot. So, love having references for stuff. And then knowing, too, that Sakita and Ilya were going through this trying to not get absolutely shit-rocked by Atari in here. It's crazy, because they have a grocery store in here. I don't know what that person's doing on this stage, but they look possessed. It's okay, they got Tesla charging stations, you guys. And they got convenience store sushi. They got a rock wall. I wonder if Atari ever played with on the rock wall for children. Oh, they got auto belays. That's fun. They got an auto belay on the net. This actually is much harder than the rock wall. I don't like that. Rockin' Tots. Is that like a tater tot? They got trampolines. I wonder if he ever screwed around on these. Probably. Guaranteed. I love how these two people down there are literally actively getting in a fist fight. Are you seeing that? What is this image? Hold on. Hold on. I was not expecting to go through Google Maps and just seeing it. Is that person getting mugged? Are those two kids about to, like, what the, what? Why? I can't. That's funny. That's silly. Don't get into a fist fight. You might get caught on camera. Everything's fine. Yeah, so this place is kind of creepy. Like, you could definitely see how this could very quickly become terrifying, like, liminal space territory. But I guess all malls are really that way. But this one in particular, it's got, like, just bad lighting and stuff in certain areas. It's kind of a crappy mall. Like, Santa Maria is not, like, the most bougie place ever. But this is the, like, theater. I like these benches a lot. It's just crazy. 1.5 or 1 out of 5 stars. Got caught on camera fighting Joe from. I can't. Oh yeah, the Chapel Hills Mall. Oh yeah, that thing's fucked up. That is a messed up mall. It leaks from the ceiling. It's pretty great. Okay, so hold on. I'm gonna be right back before we start this next sprint. Everybody take a stretch break, stand up, and take a breather for just a second. I have returned. Alright, let's go. Let's sprinty again. We're doing so good. Is everybody feeling like really productive? Because I'm feeling like I haven't really gotten through that much stuff, but at the very least, I feel like I'm kind of doing it. Whoa, this is a big one. Almost to 30. Look at that. 27 minutos. 27 minutos is a lot of time. That is so much time. So, let's get started. This is going to be a huge one. I'm going to go ahead and, let's see. Pause this. Okay, let's start recording or editing this stuff. Good luck on everything that you're working on for the next like 30-ish minutes, and I'll see you on the other side of this sprint. Here we go.
I panicked. There was nothing I could do. My magic was worthless and nearly depleted. My vampiric skills gone. My eyes darted around the battlefield. There had to be something. Reckoning. I ran for it. My legs carried me at a human pace across the battlefield, and I slid to grab it, the blade's heat uncomfortably close. I hoped I wouldn't slip using it. I charged the monster and swung Reckoning, which lodged itself into the demon's thigh. Ultimately, the blade did not explode with holy light like Lilia's. While powerful, Reckoning had not been made. While powerful, Reckoning had not been made with holy intent. We fought side by side next to each other, and she seemed shocked. Lazar stood on the roof, his eyes aggressively watching us chop away his fiend. The monster's teeth tore Lilia's armor apart. It gnawed at her, and then smacked me away with a claw. But I wouldn't give to be able to heal. Its mace bashed in Lilia's armor, and its tail tripped me as I attempted to stand, sharp barbs digging into my side. Lilia rose, despite her wounds and her blood. This woman knew not failure. Her weak swing missed. The second one lodged into the torso of the beast and did not. Her weak swing missed. Her weak swing missed. The second one lodged into the torso of the beast and did not come back out. In a desperate attempt to help as the demon dodged her scythe, Astrid pulled the crossbow from Urian's back, stood to better her aim, and pointed it shakily at the beast. The bolt missed. And tears came to her eyes. At the very least, her scythe still spiraled of its own accord, but missed just by a hair as it swung. But I looked up to keep an eye on Lazar. I found him missing again. He marched his way through the flame in Astrid's direction. As he neared her, the guardian she had placed shot a beam of sunlight at him. Lazar took half of the hit, stumbling a touch but not stopping, and the guardian self-destructed, having expended its energy. When he reached Astrid, he raised his fist in the air. She covered her head. My heart jumped to my throat. I threw myself across the battlefield, desperately trying to save her from whatever was coming. Astrid took the first blow. I was not fast enough. She fell to her knees, but by the time the second blow came down, I stood between his fist and her frail body. His fist crunched as it hit my arm, my skin still strong but now bruised, and I grinned. "I was here first, you bastard," I growled. Only I'm allowed to drag the people of Starkovia into ruin. "I'm not here to ruin it, you fool," Lazar spat. "I'm here to bring it out of the ashes." In a flash, my mind caught itself in a memory. My brother Theo loomed over me in the castle, before the fireplace on that fateful night, his eyes wild with power and fury. He held his hand up to strike me, firelight reflecting off the rigid lines hate had formed in his face, and I pleaded with him. "Don't ruin what we have, Theo," I begged as I scrambled for the poker, my fingers searching for cold iron. "Please, I love you." "We are here to bring Starkovia from the ashes, Darius. You're either with me or against me." I gasped. A possibility I had not considered entered my mind. Clara. That night she had fallen to her death, had been reincarnated. I had been foolish to assume Theo would not. "Who are you?" I asked Lazar, my hands trembling. "The true king of Starkovia," he replied. "More of a king than you could ever be. Loud crunching echoed across the battlefield. When I looked back, Lilia had been crushed into the ground. A crater sank into the earth where the demon's mace had smashed her into the dirt, and it turned to look at its master. "I'll protect you as best as I can," Estrid muttered and put her hands up to cast a spell. I fumbled as I swung for Lazar, missing my Sphinx, and he shook his head and stepped out of the way as if we were playing. He sighed. "Wow, you're incompetent." I scowled as the fiend he had summoned lumbered closer. Before I could react, Lazar had stepped around me, taking advantage of my inferior speed, and struck Astrid to the ground. I cried out and he swung at me, barely missing my nose. "You're pathetic," he said. "I can't believe they thought something as weak as you would be able to face me." "Why?" I barked. "Why do all of this?" "The world rejected me. Has since birth. The witches gave me a new life, one where I could bring death, and so I would bring suffering to all those who had wronged me." So they were using him as a death machine, just as they had thought to use me. "You're being used," I cried. "They just want you to kill for them." "You think I'm killing for them?" he scoffed. "I'm killing for myself. I have followers that revere me like a god, and I use that power to wipe the people that have wronged me off the face of the earth." The monstrosity finally made its way to me, and I dodged gnashing teeth. Its claws raked down my chest, and I cried out as I bled. Actually bled. On the next swipe, his claw caught the chain of my amulet and pulled it from my body. The sharp claw pierced the heart-shaped gem and shattered it to pieces, causing ink and goo to go everywhere. As it did, I felt as though a massive weight lifted from my chest. My skin started to pull itself back together, healing itself. And I grinned. Big mistake. My claws raked across its shoulder, leaving necrosis behind. I stomped on my amulet as I went. I would let go of the past. I would let go of the throne, my brother, everything. I had that amulet as long as I had known Clara. It was the only thing I had left from my mother, but that was all over now. She was dead. Clara was gone. Lazar, this new prince of darkness, may have reminded me of Theo, but I had to remember that Theo was gone too. I had new things that needed protecting, and if I wanted to keep this city from burning to the ground, I had to do something about it. I had failed to protect the people of Starkovia from myself. I would not fail. I would not fail to protect them from a poser. My second attack was with Reckoning. I did not fear it anymore. I missed, but I was getting somewhere. Once I finished the swing, I turned to Mist, feeling the full range of my powers again. I dashed well out of range of the monstrosity, playing tag with it. Lazar was able to keep up with me, but I was less afraid of him. His fist knocked me in the face, but I was prepared for the impact. I felt my nose break and then start to realign itself. Out of the corner of my eye, Lilia raised her head. I clawed at Lazar's face, my claws not doing as much damage as I liked. No matter. I had a magic sword. The sword exploded in light and heat as I hit Lazar, but it did not hurt me. My arms did not betray me. I moved away from the fiend again. I would not let it catch me unaware. I would not let it catch me unaware. Lazar followed his swings clumsy. One hit and the molten magma bubbling. One hit and the molten magma bubbling on his knuckles burned as it hit me. Something glimmered, and I glanced to find Lilia doing magic. I thought I saw Astrid stir, but I could not be certain. Urian roused himself, and I took a deep breath. Were we actually going to win? Reckoning swung smoothly with every stroke. It felt good to wield something that had once petrified me. I was free, free of the past, free of fear. I baited Lazar over to a place where Lilia would have an easy shot at him. Hopefully she was going to survive. Unbound by guilt, now I sliced at my adversary. He traded blows with me, but I could scarcely feel them now that the witch's curse had been shattered. I cackled as my vampiric essence returned, and he hesitated. It was all we needed. A crackling sound echoed around me as Lazar was hit with something. He cried out in pain as he limped behind me, clearly losing this battle. With one hit from Lilia's blade, Lazar was brought to his knees. In another blow, he was dead. Her blade slashed into his torso, and Lazar crumpled to the ground in a heap of blood and tar and magma. I stepped to her side, looking down at him. Theo had looked much the same after I had killed him. All his fight and fury had left him then too. He had gone from being something to be feared, a warmongering king soaked in blood, to nothing. Now, his bones were nothing but dust in a tomb, and I, despite everything, was the only one left. You were a terrible brother, I muttered. Astrid scrambled to Yura's side and attempted to give help we desperately needed. She started to cast a spell, but scowled in frustration as her magic either did not work or did not do what she needed it to. She began to feverishly mutter under her breath, crying out to her gods in every way she knew how. I had no time to stop. Lazar's demon still lived. Reckoning cut the flesh of the monster. It cried out as the glimmering glow split its skin and cracked it like old leather. I only had to make it tired. I ran across the battlefield, out of its reach, away from Astrid. My misstep carried me just far enough away to be out of its reach and to stay safe, but to not lose its attention. A ball of energy flew past the demon. Lilia gave one hearty hit to its backside and decided to retreat, having spent the last of her energy. She had fought well. A raven flew down from the smoke and pecked at the demon, picking its skin and being a general nuisance. I felt a power that I had not felt in 400 years, like a weight that had been pulled from me. The demon dove to meet me, following me around the battlefield. Reckoning kissed the monster's skin as I spun around it, dancing with the blade. It had been so long since I used a sword in combat, so long since I had been in a true battle. This time, the fight did not petrify me. Out of the corner of my eye, Urien dragged himself to his feet. I cried out in triumph as he limped to our aid, refusing to lose the fight. A spell sparked from his fingertips. The creature fell to its knees. With one final blow, I chopped off the creature's head. Reckoning traveled through the neck of the beast, cauterizing the wound as it went, until the thing lumped to the ground, dead. Chapter 36. The battlefield fell quiet. Buildings continued to burn, and I heaved a sigh, wiping sweat from my brow and dropping Reckoning. Urien stumbled to me, battered and bloodied. He picked Reckoning up off the ground and put it back in his tattoo. I gasped to regain my breath as he clapped me on the shoulder, saying,
Good work, vampire.
Urian, Darius, help, Astrid cried from across the square. The two of us turned to find Astrid kneeling over Yura's fallen body. Tears streamed down her face, and the two of us wobbled over as best as we could. Lilia kept her distance but stayed present, watching the events unfold. Yura lay completely still on the ground. I could not hear his heart beating, as subtle and soft as it was, even in undeath, and I was sure he was gone. I tried to bring him back to life, but Astrid sobbed. Her tears rolled down her cheeks in globs, dripping onto the cobblestone and darkening it where they fell. I knelt next to her and put a hand on Yura's chest, but felt nothing. A great guilt overwhelmed my heart. Yura had come along on this folly journey because he missed me, missed what we had together. I got him killed. I choked up and my chest trembled. Tears came to my eyes, and I muttered, "This is all my fault." He fought valiantly, Lilia said, as did you. I'm surprised at you, Darius. I didn't think you'd care. Of course I care. I've always cared. I just let my grief and the past get in the way of what really mattered, which is moving forward. And now it's cost me a friend.
I am partially to blame, too.
Urian's bird landed on his shoulder and he tossed his tattered cloak to the ground. His horns glimmered in the firelight, his silhouette black against the blaze.
I had no idea Lazar was connected to the witches.
My associates and I went toe-to-toe with him before, back when he was still living with the burgomaster and his family. So he's not your brother? I asked Lilia. No, he is. Lilia sheathed her sword and used her capelet to wipe soot from her face. Unfortunately, he grew up in a different household. I was adopted by a curate, he the burgomaster of Neston. The burgomaster brought him into his home, but Lazar had always been troubled, touched by a demonic nature. I didn't know much about Neston, but the tales of Lazar's brutality traveled far.
It seems the witches turned the power within him to the maximum and unleashed it on Starkovia.
Urian muttered, his eyes on the cobblestone.
We should have killed him before.
No, it makes sense, I said. I was so stupid.
What do you mean?
The witches wanted someone like Theo, a dark prince, the true king of Starkovia. It had been Theo's thirst for territory that first brought Starkovia to ruin, and I had not done anything to stop it. When my vampirism did not do what they wished, get them the souls they desired, the witches called upon another. Urian nodded in understanding and looked back to where Lazar lay.
You don't think...
We have no way to know. But he's dead now. If my brother's soul was inside him, I've killed him twice. I pursed my lips. My crushed amulet lay on the ground nearby, and I took Yura's hand. We had a good time together. I dragged Yura into this mess, turned him into a vampire. There's no way I can make up for it. Oh my gods, someone stammered behind us. Are you all right? I turned to see the burgomaster scrambling his way toward us in his long robes, panic on his face and his son in tow. As soon as his son saw a dead body, he rushed to Yura's side, spellbook in hand, to see what he could do. Urian nodded to the burgomaster and pulled his hood from his face.
Burgomaster, good to see you're all right. Your wife is safe, and we've sent her to the edge of town with the rest of the villagers.
You are truly my savior several times over, the burgomaster cried and hugged Urian, who responded in kind by standing stiffly. Thank you.
You should gather any mages you have and try and put these fires out.
Toma, get to it, Burgomaster Kovalev commanded. Sorry, miss. There's nothing I can do. Toma looked up from his spellbook and Astrid's as he compared notes and stood. Right away, father. The burgomaster's son made his way to a nearby building, opened his book, and storm clouds rolled in, raining fresh and cleansing water down onto the fire. The burgomaster crossed his arms and nodded. Good thing you gave him that book, Urian. He's been quite useful now that he has a way to channel his, manic tendencies. Who is responsible for this mess? Your other son, Urian clarified. Lazar. The burgomaster paled. Lazar did this. The targets all line up. He went after your wife, his mother, because of the way she raised him. He killed the elder Dalka brother because of the rivalry that they had in town and the bullying he had committed. Then, the Oracle Reader at the Mortrean camp was struck down. She had revealed to him, at one point we're aware of, that the woman he was romantically pursuing was his own sister through her magic. The entire town of Neston was a last-ditch effort at wiping his childhood off the map. Oh, I did the best that I could, the burgomaster stuttered. I tried to help Lazar, but no matter what I did, he wouldn't listen to me. You may not be entirely to blame. The same witches responsible for Darius's vampiric curse did the same to Lazar. His demonic nature and desire for chaos seems to have stemmed from the witch's desire for death. Darius's vampire spawn weren't killing people fast enough, and burning an entire town to the ground was the next reasonable step. I picked Yura up from the ground, tears soaking my cheeks and washing soot away. I picked Yura up from the ground, tears soaking my cheeks and washing soot away from Yura's skin. I felt so helpless. My powers had come too late, and if I had only broken the amulet sooner, he would still be alive. I muttered, the cult was just a tool. If I would have known that some stupid club started hundreds of years ago would do all this, I would have put a stop to it. The Dalga brothers were involved in the same cult. We put their mother out of her misery in hopes that something like this wouldn't happen, but I guess there was root rot elsewhere that we did not see. Lilia began. Are you weeping, vampire? I looked to her in disgust. Keep your words to yourself and let me grieve. Then I pulled Yura's face to my chest. My hand came away sticky with blood. I owed him more than just a verbal apology. And I had been so terrible to him. Urian crouched next to Astrid and looked her over with a kindness in his eyes. A rarity. Astrid, it's going to be all right. No, she cried. Her eyes were now red and puffy from crying, and she trembled beneath my touch. Yura didn't deserve any of this, and I'm not good enough to bring him back. You can't blame yourself. You did everything you could, and he walked willingly into battle. There has to be something that we can do. She violently flipped through her spellbook. After a moment of searching, she flipped back and forth between a few pages and finally stopped on a spell at the back of the book. She looked as though she had been struck by lightning, and she gazed across the square at Toma and his rain cloud. Tears fell as she paused there, trembling, until she finally said, I think I know the way. Urian's eyebrows twitched in curiosity, but he said nothing. There's a spell here, one I got from Stas's books. He taught it to me after the service, but warned me to use it only in dire circumstances. It will allow me to make Yura better, but I could also use it to get rid of your vampirism. I thought to save it just in case killing the witches cured you. That didn't work, and this spell is a direct prayer to Ohalden, so maybe... Then use it, I said. Save Yura, and then undo my curse. The problem is, if I use it, it may not work again. Whether or not I can do this more than once is up to Ohalden, so... She sniffled and tried desperately to wipe away her tears. I can only do one or the other. Save Yura, or cure your vampirism. I nodded in understanding. Choices like this were always inevitable. The universe loved playing cruel jokes. In reality, there was not even a choice. There was the morally good thing to do, and then there was the selfish thing to do. I had been selfish for so long, and I would not be selfish that day. Heal him, I said. Return him to this world and remove his vampirism so he can go on to have a normal life. I owe him that much. Thank you, Astrid. This means a lot to me. Astrid grabbed my hand and gave it a hearty squeeze. Urian looked down at me, his brow furrowed. You don't have to do this, he said. But I do. Yura meant the world to me once. There is no other way. After a moment's pause, Astrid folded her hands in prayer. A holy glow descended over her, cloaking her like a veil, and vivated. The energy in the air shifted, the entire square vibrating in an energy like I had never felt. And then I saw them. A Halden. Whether it was a trick of the light or a game played by my tired mind, I saw the same figure that had Whether it was a trick of the light or a game played by my tired mind, I saw the same figure that had been depicted in Stas's stained glass. They stood behind Astrid, their head enveloped in a holy glow and a crown of sunbeams, and they put their hands on her shoulders. They whispered something in her ear, and then in an explosion of glitter and light they vanished. After a moment of silence, she took a deep breath, her skin lost its color, and her eyes rolled back in her head.
Alrighty, all done with that sprint. That was a long one. How did everybody do? I got done with chapter 35, and now I'm almost done with chapter 36. Also, welcome back, Will. I'm sorry you got lost. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm almost done with chapter 36 now. We're making my way downtown. Walking fast. I'm dying. Hi, Badrick. Yeah, day's going pretty good. It's happening, that's for sure. We're chugging. I'm almost done with this audiobook, which is really, really exciting. So, and then I get to go back to writing, which is great. And then querying also, which is less great. But that's okay. But I hope you're doing really, really well. It's always good to see you. Oh, I also want to throw out a thank you to I would want to highlight their username is, what is it? Hold on, I totally forgot what it is. It's like rye bread. Hold on, I'm gonna find it. Ryebread4986 on TikTok, and I believe that they're also on YouTube as well, for buying my taco. I really appreciate that. It got to go home, and I am so excited. I have a lot of art coursework to do. Mood. I just got done with my portfolio for grad school, so now I am free! I'm free! So... I've never felt so much relief in my whole life. I'm really glad I didn't do the MFA because I probably would have died. And, yeah, kind of bummed because I did get into my school's spring show and then missed the deadline because I was so overwhelmed with everything else to submit final files because I didn't check my email because I'm dumb. So I'm still kind of bummed about that, but honestly, like... knowing that I beat out like 500 other students and got in is good enough for me, I guess. And hopefully that means that my portfolio is now good enough that I will get a job when I go to New Zealand. We will find out. I realize that none of my messages have been sending due to my VPN. Oh no, cursed! Okay, well, I'm glad that you're here. I appreciate you. Yeah, King of Dust really carried me across the finish line, to be honest, which is kind of nuts. But I am exhausted and very relieved. I'm like really happy with it. This is like the overall vibe. Yay, I hope that you like it. Yeah, we're working on the King of Dust audiobook in here today. And I now have this, let me know, it's in the Discord if you want to check it out. It's got, effectively, character illustrations for everybody. This is my, like, final portfolio, but, you know, it's got, yeah, images of everybody, all the major characters, and some environment studies and stuff of major locations, so you can check that out. And it's been really fun getting to like visually develop all the characters because, you know, there's so much like cool stuff with this book. I really like this book a lot, and I'm glad I got to work on it and show people what goes on in my brain and translate that also into like physical form. My perspective on this is kind of wonk, but we are not going to talk about it. If I got hired at a studio, it would be to not do environments, to be quite honest. Props and characters, yes. I would love to do props and characters, but environments, please God, no. Story beats I can do. Cinematic paintings I can do. Environments, not so much. But yeah, I'm really pleased with my portfolio. Yeah, and Badger, you take your time. There's obviously no deadline on that stuff. You definitely, I want you to enjoy it, you know, so feel free to read it at your leisure. I'm glad that you like the book though, Jamie. That's very, very kind. My brother read the back of the book, and it sounds like something Matt Berry would say. That is literally the kindest compliment that I could ever be given. Oh my god. I love Matt Berry so much. He's such an exceptional actor. Oh, he's so funny. Yeah, this, it's funny that you bring that up, because it's definitely, because this book, hold on, I have it over here. Wait a second. Oh, I don't have the Curse of Strahd thing over here. So, if you've ever played Dungeons & Dragons, there was this campaign that was released in the 1980s called Curse of Strahd. And Curse of Strahd is an adaptation of Bela Lugosi's Universal Monsters Dracula. So it's effectively just Dracula. It's just D&D Dracula. Okay, so that's what this is. And I played through it, the new, like, modern adaptation version of it that was released a couple of years ago. And I found it insanely boring. It has a really fun setting, sort of, but it's like, I don't know, it's like D&D Dracula, if you will. No, it's true. So it's like, that's exactly it. It's just horrendously boring, and I don't like it. So then my thought was, like, I wanted to know more about, like, Strahd as a villain, and then when I was running the campaign as a DM, he slowly devolved from being this, like, majestic Dracula figure to this absolute moron. And everyone was, like, trying to run around and stop him from, like, doing whatever he's doing with the vampirism, and he was just like, I don't know what you want from me, you guys, okay? I'm just trying to not die. And it was, like, it was really stupid. So then it got to the point where I was like, well, like, I just need to write a book about him trying to, like, why did he become a vampire? How did that happen? And what made him want to do this? Because effectively when the, like, player characters, one of their, like, party members showed up to his castle while they were literally trying to chop his head off, and one of the characters was like, I'll just be queen. I'll just be queen of Starkovia, or in this case, Barovia in the D&D module, right? And he was like, yeah, please take it. I don't want it anymore. I don't want to be king. You take it. And I was like, why would somebody do that? You know, it's like, what is the logic here? And so then slowly but surely, I ended up, like, rolling that around in my brain, and so then that's how this thing happened. And it became like a D&D comedy, which is
a super specific genre. So as like a game lit comedy, it's very specific. But it's definitely like massively inspired not only by that Dungeons and Dragons campaign, but also particularly Taika Waititi's writing for What We Do in the Shadows, which is two biggest inspirations for this thing. So it's very silly, and there is like a lot of serious moments for sure, but it's like D&D is supposed to be funny. I was trying to go for the same kind of tone and vibe from the Honor Among Thieves Dungeons and Dragons movie as well. So this particular book does have some of the Murder House portion of the Curse of Strahd campaign in it. So if you're familiar with the campaign, it starts you off in a place where you might know what's going on, and then it very quickly diverts from that. So about like a third of the way through the book, it starts to get crazy. But yeah, that is literally the kindest. I don't think I would cast Matt... Well, if I had to cast Matt Berry as anybody, actually, in this particular book, it's the Burgomaster. Hands down. There's this guy who is like the Burgomaster of a bigger town, and he is super, super weird. And let's see, where's my beat boards? They decide because this bubble gets popped and the sun rises for the first time in like 400 years. There he is. And so then they have this weird festival. They call it the Festival of the Burning Sun. And so they all get these super creepy sun masks and start throwing corn kernels at each other. And if Matt Berry is going to be anybody, it's this dude. He's so weird. He accidentally almost lights himself on fire trying to like light a wicker effigy on fire. It's a lot. Yep. There's a poop-covered gnome in this book. Like, I definitely don't try and take it super seriously, to be honest. It's pretty great. But thank you so much for purchasing it, Badrick. I literally can't even tell you, like, how much that means to me. Like, it's so insane that this book actually, like... I don't know, that it actually is, like, going places? That's crazy! I don't even know how many books I've sold of this thing. Let me see. Because it's hard to say. Let me figure out, because I'll count 2, 4, 10, 14. I just sold 18 more of these bad boys on this Kickstarter alone. Like, that's crazy. Because honestly, if, like, with my marketing efforts alone, if I can sell, like, 150 books, I am, like, happy as a clam. So let's see, 34, and then last year, King of Dust sold 42 books alone. That's nuts. Yeah, if I hit 100 books sold with this, I'm gonna cry. That's crazy. That's nuts. So I'm like almost there in like a 2-year span or a 1-year span. That's nuts. That's so kind, Badrick. Seriously, though, I really do appreciate that. And, of course, you know, if you have friends who are like, well, I can't afford it, you know, it is free to read online if people, like, I like to try and keep that open as an option for people, because I do recognize that, like, you know, things are crazy, and it can be, I don't know, right now, especially with the economy, especially in the U.S., being the way that it is, some of my books I do like to try and keep for free, just because not everybody can afford that all the time. If you have to choose between eggs and a book, definitely get eggs. I can see the one King of Dust. I think it's you, Badrick.
Or no, wait, nope, that one was a US sale. I don't know if you're in the US. I don't think so, if I remember correctly. I did make one US sale last month. That's nuts. Yeah, see, so that wasn't you. I'm like, who is it? Who is this person? I have to go through and, like, do my, let's see, KNEP, let's do last month. I had one person start to read Brady Von Altus and the Pesky Pest Controller in Canada, and they read exactly one page. That's the copyright page. That's rough. That's a nice thing that they tried. They downloaded it, looked at it, and went, And I'm like, so sad. Oh my god, Riddle, this is so cool. This is so cool. I'm like losing my mind. Wait a second. No, this is so cool. What even? I'm losing my mind. Everybody here is neat. Everybody here is super cool. Oh, Atari. Look at his little face. This is so crazy. You guys are so good to me. Why do I... Gosh, wow. I'm dying. Everybody's so talented, and I don't even know what to do with my life. I wish there's a way that I can look at this. I wish that I understood the Ingram Spark sales page better. Because I can see that I sold 3 units on Ingram Spark this year. Why? I just start screaming. I just got to get more familiar with how their sales are recorded. Bye, Badgerick. See you later. Good luck with your art homework and stuff. Have a good day. Okay, what happened? Because is this just my metadata? Yes. That does not help me. Why? Why? I just start screaming. How do I download these things? I just want to know. Sorry, I am like having a time over here. What? They're like, you can make a graph bigger, and I'm like, I don't want to make the graph bigger.
Dumb. Unless... I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. Who am I? I know that I found this in here at some point. This is lame. Because I don't want compensation. Because that's fine. Oh, there we go. Oh, I guess compensation is the right page. See, but that's the U.S. sales market. Interesting. What? What is happening? Interesting. Y'all, why is math? Why is this hard? Okay, so this says I made no sales in April. That makes sense. Interesting. Why would you do this to me? Yeah, because I have to figure out how to, like, make sure that I know what my sales are doing during each month. Because otherwise, I'm going to be confused as hell trying to track, like, what actually, like... Yeah, because there's a US one. Interesting. In March. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Compensation seems to be the right place, though. Crazy. I don't know how that shit works. But on the plus side, though, I'm definitely way over halfway of making my book sales goal for this year, so that's pretty neat. I'm fine. All right, let me roll for this, like, this actual, Oh my god, we got the world's largest one, 27. It was not actually that crazy, but somehow we rolled the exact same as we did for the last sprint. That was nuts. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and jump in to this next sprint. And,
then hopefully just make like a bunch of good progress on this and try and get through the rest of this book. I kind of doubt that that'll happen. I know that Jason and I gotta go to Jared at some point to like do our rings and stuff. So I'm gonna do this sprint. This will be the last one for the day, and then we'll wrap it up. So I will see you on the other side of this sprint. Here we go.
Just before she fainted, Urian managed to catch her, keeping her from hitting her head on the cobblestone. Astrid, he called as he tried to rouse her from fainting. Astrid. Something shifted on my lap, and I looked down when Yura bumped my foot as he sat up. Color had returned to his cheeks, and he fluttered his eyelashes like one who had just woken up from a pleasant nap. After a moment of rubbing his eyes with one hand, he asked, "What happened?" "You died," I chuckled. "Astrid brought you back." "She did that?" When Yura raised his other hand, he paused and looked at the inky marking upon it. Something that had not been there before. A spiraling explosion of lines and color traced its way across the back of his hand and up his arm, iconography in the shape of a sun. "What's this?" "I'm assuming the effect of the spell." "You're marked by a Halden now," Lilia interjected. She stepped up behind me, and I looked up to see her gazing down with a look of confusion on her face. "That was a very selfless thing you did, Darius." "It seems you are continually surprised at my selflessness, Lilia." I laughed. "In seriousness, Yura's life is worth more than mine." "I'm not a vampire anymore," Yura stammered as he ran his tongue over his teeth. His eyes darted around behind his blonde lashes, a sea of blue surrounded by milky white. "Darius, does that mean you're... Oh... No, you're still... Then how... "I gave up a wish to bring you back," I clarified. "It was the right thing to do." Astrid fluttered back to consciousness as I stroked her hair, and when she saw Yura sitting up and moving around, she heaved a sigh of relief. She sank back into my arms and breathed slow and heavy. She was still quite pale, and her breathing came ragged and difficult. "I'm glad I could help." "Let's get you to the wagon," Urian suggested. Yura interjected weakly. "I parked it at the edge of town, near the western gate, by the Mortrain camp." "Good. Thank you. We can travel back to the village Starkovia and get a room there. You need rest." Urian lifted her from the ground and began to hobble her toward the edge of town, hopefully toward people and healers. I stood and picked up the remnants of my amulet, which had been nearly crushed on the ground. The gemstone was nothing more than a few shards of black glass, and the gold casing had been bent to bits. A 400-year-old heirloom destroyed. My mother had looked beautiful in that necklace. I wondered if she would be proud of me. I shook my head and crushed the rest of the gemstone in my fist, letting the dust be carried away on the wind. As I turned the remainder of the amulet casing in my hands, shaking the final bits of goop and ink from the glass, I let out a deep sigh. Who was I now? I had a lot to think about. Without a castle, my royal crest on my mother's amulet, my family's history, everything my brother had worked for, was nothing more than dust. I chuckled. Perhaps King of Dust suited me. "Good work," someone said behind me. I spun around to find Lilia there, hands folded in front of herself delicately, a smile at the corner of her mouth. Her eyes had whited out, her brown irises now lost in a sea of milky ivory. She ran her fingers through her braids and twitched an eyebrow at me. "Hello, Darius." I had seen Lilia do this only once before. I cautiously edged forward, fiddling with my fingers. "Clara?" "I can't believe you actually did it," she scoffed, teasing playing on the tip of her tongue. "I thought you would have given up by now." "Of course not. You said..." "Do you always do everything that everyone tells you to do?" I paused and ran my tongue over my lips, then pursed them, hoping to stop myself from saying something stupid. You've done as I asked, but the task is not done yet. There are still things that need to be done around the country, but this is a good start. Thank you. So, are you going to address the monster in the room, or am I? My eyebrows flicked in interest, but I was unsure what she was getting at. I'm not. Your kingdom, Darius. You can't avoid it forever. I can't rule, I said. I'm a terrible king. A stranger ruling in your stead is not better. She spat. I need you to think of a better solution. The people of Starkovia deserve better than that. What shall I do? Here. A Halden owes Lilia a favor. I'm sure she won't mind. She turned and pointed a finger at Astrid, whose form was disappearing beyond the gate to the city. From her finger, an orb of light burst to life and then shot in Astrid's direction. It hit her, and Urian started, not sure where the magic came from. He whipped around and looked back to see what had been done. You have one more chance. She should recover soon. When she does, put someone on the throne that would actually do it good. Someone who knows the area. None of this, I found a replacement in my dungeon nonsense. I know you'll think of something. Hey, Clara, I interjected. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Her head cocked in interest. Are you apologizing? It's long overdue. I love you, and should have respected you enough to let you go. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for chasing you so long. Thank you for keeping Lilia safe, and for making me a better person. That's all I wanted to hear, Darius. And at that, Lilia's eyes returned to their chestnut brown as she fell, collapsing into a faint. I dashed to her and caught her, her eyelashes fluttering in the confusion. Then she looked up at me. There was a moment of uncertainty, and then she drew her gauntleted hand back. She clocked me right in the cheek, knocking my face to the side, and I dropped her. She caught herself and stepped back. Don't touch me, she said. Ow! I muttered as I wiped blood from my mouth. My fingers could not even close into a solid fist, and my lips felt dry and cracked under my tongue. I needed to feed. Darius, you okay? Urian called, waiting to see if he needed to come back to me. I'm fine. I just have things I need to take care of. Chapter 37. Astrid recovered, color returning to her cheeks and light returning to her eyes. While she worked on feeling better, I took care of things that I should have centuries ago. I spent a few days with the Mortrayans, repairing my relationship with Sinsan and his brother as best as I could. They did not trust me, but we formulated a plan. They intended on leaving Starkovia for good for the first time in 400 years, and they invited me to go with them. I considered it, but could not leave. I needed to sort things out with Urian. I had one more thing to make right, and as much as I wanted to use Estrid's magic on myself, I couldn't. With regular vampires, those who were bitten by the head of a clan, they could be cured by eliminating or curing the original source. Because I was cursed, I could not risk it. For now, I needed to fix the most recent and immediate messes I had made. I gave my most expensive heirlooms and jewelry to Sinsan in hopes that the Mortrayans could sell them. If anything, it would make up for years of servitude and loyalty. After that, I returned to my castle, Urian at my side. Civ had not brought anyone new into the court, and the castle was just as ghostly and empty as it had been the day I left. Urian and I lurked through the halls looking for her, and finally found her alone, pale and thin. Soon, she would be released from her curse, I promised her. Urian explained what had transpired while I roamed the back corners of my old home. I gutted the stores of treasure in the catacombs of my castle, taking whatever riches I could carry from dead relatives. I avoided my room and my brother's, only daring to enter parts of the castle that held no memories. I left some of my wealth in the house of the mayor of Starkovia, in the house of the burgomaster of Neston, and finally at the abbey in Kalka. My entire fortune was given away, and I hoped that the gold and jewels that I no longer needed could lift Starkovia from poverty. Once Astrid recovered, I asked her to accompany me to the castle one final time, hoping to undo the most recent mistake I had made. Civ wasted no time on pleasantries and entreated Astrid to remove the curse. There was, of course, the fear that it would not work. Gods were fickle, and if they decided this cause did not suit theirs, Astrid would never again be able to use such powerful magic. She prayed under her breath, and sunlight shone through the stained glass windows of my throne room for the first time. Dust exploded from the glass, returning it to its once bright color. Grime and cobwebs evaporated in the throne room, disappearing as if it had never been there, and color returned to the carpet. A beam of light coated Astrid in a rainbow of color, and a swirl of light traced its way across Civ's brow, leaving the same mark of a Halden on her as the spell had on Yura. I felt a weight lift from my heart. She returned to normal, free of the undead burden I had placed on her. I told her she could remain and continue to rule, but she seemed disinterested. It was quite the job, after all. That spell took a lot out of Astrid. Weak and worse for wear than before, she fell into a deep sleep. Astrid slumbered for days, unmoving, like a fairy tale princess under a curse. Urian assured me that she would be fine, and that magic of that magnitude would drain any mage. I remained by her side, and only left after she finally opened her eyes, weak, but alive. I spent time with Yura as he recovered also, and he allowed me to feed on him. It was the first real meal that I had put in my mouth in weeks, but I resisted the urge to drink more than I knew he could handle. I did not want to hurt him any more than I already had. What I drank was not enough, and though I had satiated the hunger for now, the deficit from traveling with Urian had caused the ravenous ache to persist in my stomach and my mind. I fulfilled my promise to him, and after I had my drink, I bought him his from a local pub, one of the only ones in Neston that was still standing. Yura returned to his rosy-cheeked human state day by day, and he went with me to the burgomaster in hopes that he may be able to help me find a suitable ruler for Starkovia. He was not going to let me shirk my duties after all I had promised. We had a long conversation about it over tea. After a lengthy discussion on the responsibilities of ruling a country, the door opened, and I was surprised to find the burgomaster's son, Toma. Toma offered to take the position. He was the son of a burgomaster after all. With his father's guidance, he would be suitable to rule. He was a naturally powerful wizard, able to protect himself and the land, and though young, had great potential. Burgomaster Dalka vowed to hold position as regent, along with other city leaders, whom he would reach out to in the meantime to make sure the transition was smooth. And so it was done. I righted everything I could, though there were still monsters roaming about the countryside, and that was what I needed to talk to Urian about. I sat next to him by the fire as it crackled, dusk turning to night. I pulled the cloak from my face, now free of the fear of sunlight thanks to the approaching twilight, and sighed as I watched the embers dance. "What's on your mind?" Urian asked. "I'm just trying to figure out what to do from here." I attempted to warm my fingers on the fire, but to no avail. This was around the time that my body would begin to fail. I just didn't feel like eating. After everything we had been through, the thought of eating made me tired. Well, Urian began poking the fire with a stick. There are many more monsters to slay and creatures of the night to be decapitated if you want to come with me. I feel bad for abandoning my people. The Mortrayans need a king, and I've neglected that post for far too long.
You want to go off and do your own thing?
Urian asked, pensiveness in his eyes.
I don't know if I can let you do that. We need to cure you. My goal is to rid the world of abominations. Dark things, Darius. My gods will smite me if I leave you alone.
How are we supposed to do that? I can help with the other things for a while, the werewolves, the witches, and other creepy crawlies, but then what? I'm cursed, and we cannot get rid of this curse by convention. Urian sighed. By convention. Convention. And we cannot.
Alright, just to not jump scare anybody, I have to record a line really quick, re-record it, so here we go. I'm cursed, and we cannot get rid of this curse by convention.
But I'm cursed, and we cannot get rid of this curse by convention. But then what? I'm cursed, and then what? I'm cursed, and we cannot get rid of this curse by convention. Urian sighed deeply and heavily, his eyebrows. Then what? I'm cursed, and we cannot get rid of this curse by convention. Urian sighed deeply and heavily, his eyebrows knitted together at the center of his forehead. I can pray, for now. Ask what I should do. I was sent here to do a job, ultimately, and that job is to clear this place of darkness, things that defy death. By all accounts, you still do that. Even though I... Even though I... Urian interrupted. He held up a hand to keep me from speaking. I wasn't finished. You have saved my life, on countless occasions. Avrana communes with me in many ways, and I follow the bird she has sent me from place to place, settling things to rest that are not rested. In the past, I would have killed you on the spot as soon as you became useless to me. However, this is not the past. I said nothing and gulped. Thank goodness he wasn't going to kill me. As we look forward, I can pray. I will reach out to Avrena in the ways I know how and ask her for permission to bend the rules moving forward. She has seen your actions through the eyes of her bird and will be able to make the call. I am not the one in charge here. Yura emerged from the back of the wagon and stretched, interrupting our conversation. He lumbered down the steps from the wagon and plopped down by the fire, his cheeks full of color and his blue eyes bright. I remembered why I had first fallen in love with him, with his knotted brow and pensive, apathetic expression. I was so glad he was back to looking alive, and more importantly, happy. The firelight danced across his skin and he looked between us. Did I interrupt something? Not really, I sighed. Just talking about the future. I intend to travel, I've decided, Yura said with resolution. I've been stuck in Starkovia my whole life. I want to see the world. Good on you. You want to make a little extra cash doing it? Urian asked. I could always use backup. Monster hunting, Yura laughed. Me? You're a properly trained swordsman and I need backup. I went at it alone for a while, but that's dangerous and unreliable. Plus, you're stealthy, besides. Not as stealthy as I was. I could train you. You just have to promise to do as I say and quit the complaining. I cackled, and Yura hit me on the arm. Yura? I asked. Not complain? Impossible. Become a religious lackey. Yura chuckled, and a log fell into the fire. What a life. The pay would be good. Better than here in Starkovia. Everyone here's broke. Everyone here's broke. And here's the thing. You don't have to sign on to my religion. You don't have to sign on to my religion. Killing monsters and kicking ass. I don't know. What's in it for you? I prodded. This is surprising of you, Urian. Urian's cheeks turned purple, a bright color for his normally ash-blue complexion. It's normally ash-blue. It's normally ash-blue. His normally ash-blue complexion. I've grown used to someone watching my back. I can't go back to my family, Yura muttered. If they were to ever find out that I sold my soul to a vampire king, one that had made their lives miserable for the past couple of decades, only to return young and beautiful and untouched, they'd never forgive me. I'll starve if I'm left alone. The fire crackled and popped, and a night bird hooted not too far away. A smile spilled across Yura's face, and he shook his head. Why not? He said, nearly too quiet to hear. I'll do it. Excellent, Urian replied. Tomorrow we head west. I hear there are werewolves over by Kalka. I nodded as the two chatted about the direction and jobs they could take in the future, and I thought about what it was I wanted. I wanted to go home, but there was home. In the Mortrain caravan. That was the closest home I had. I wanted to have a family again, to be with my people again. My hands locked up and I rubbed them in hopes of getting some circulation back, but to no avail. Darius, Yura interjected as he addressed me. You okay? Just stiff, that's all. The hunger gnawed at me again. The more I ate, the more my body wanted it. You need to eat. I had some from you a few days ago. I'll get to it tomorrow. Darius, it's been days. We need to find you someone to take just a little from to tide you over. I can't risk ruining my reputation in town. It just got better. Then you just stopped being a vampire. Don't worry about it. Then Urian started. Your god hates vampires, Urian. I'm fine. Just because O'Halden healed me doesn't mean they own me. I'll do it, someone said. I turned to find Astrid at the door to the wagon. She stood with her head high and her hair falling in waves behind her. I furrowed my eyebrows and shook my head. Astrid, I can't ask you to do that. I'm not scared of you, Darius. I'm supposed to help you. Remember? Chapter 38. Astrid took my hand as I entered the wagon. The door blocked the firelight as she closed it behind herself, and I heard Yura mutter, "Well, I'm going into town." "This late?" Urian's muffled voice came through the canvas. "My sleep schedule's shot. I'll get a good amount of sleep eventually." "Stay safe." The world outside the wagon fell silent. Astrid fumbled her way around the dark until she found the pile of furs that had been laid out in the back of the wagon. She pulled her cloak around herself in the chill and whispered, "Okay, so what do I have to do?" "You don't have to treat it like it's a secret," I laughed. "We don't have to do this if you don't want to." "I want to help you feel better. You've been working so hard."
Alrighty, that's the end of that sprint. How did everybody do? I am on the last dang chapter of this audiobook, and there's some chapters that I have to re-record because of, like, I think I just now realized that, like, it's Jace's computer fan that this thing is picking up on with the weird hum that was present in some of the chapters, and that's why it's there in some chapters and not there in others, because his computer was on, or he was watching YouTube and his graphics card fan is just going ree, and you can like really hear that hum tone. So that's why we have to effectively turn the computer off at some point, and then I need to re-record that and then also record a room tone as well. So that's going to be next on my docket of things to do. But otherwise, yeah, I literally have 9 minutes of this audiobook left to edit, and then again the next steps are record room tone, add room tone to all of the pieces that I feel like I need to, re-record the problem chapters and re-edit them, and then record the outro, the like closing title for the entire book, and then it's done, and then I get to ship it out. I also have to, as I go through this thing, to re-add room tone into stuff, remember what the chapters were and write like little audio commentary things. I think it's just going to be about an hour of audio commentary total for people. So that being said, that's like about 2 minutes of audio commentary, maybe 3 minutes max per chapter of information, so that way people can, you know, like get some cool stuff. Maybe I'll do 2 hours, so that'll be 3 minutes-ish of audio commentary per chapter for the people who backed on Kickstarter, which, by the way, is still in late pledges. So if you want to get this audiobook at a discount, and you also want to get things like the audio commentary bundle, or this exclusive Astrid tea is going to only be available here. It is a Rooibos lemon verbena
citron, mint. So like the whole goal is for it to taste like sunshine and summer. So if you really like bright lemony teas, this is going to be the way to go here. The mint is like very subtle. It's not necessarily super overpowering, and the rooibos and lemon flavor is going to be more present than the mint. So that's something to keep in mind. There's also this Rad Darius sticker if you want it. So again, if you want to do late pledges, those are open. And you can just go to the Kickstarter page and hit back this project and still have access to all of those rewards and stuff. So if you're interested in doing that, I just dropped a link in the Twitch chat. For those of you on YouTube, if you want the link, please let me know, and I'll, zip zap zoop over there and drop you the link. So thank you to everyone who did back the Kickstarter and is in on that, because without that, I would not have been able to do this audiobook, and it's really, really cool to be able to have the support there, and then also get paid a little bit for doing the audiobook as well. So, too late. I already, oh my god, what is that? Oh, you're already on it. Too late. Yeah, you're too zippy. So that being said, thanks a bunch again. I'll be back tomorrow to work on some Heaven's Equal comic stuff and not be hella stressed out for once in my life. So now I can just chill and vibe and have a nice time doing art again before maybe starting a job. I don't know. I have an interview on the 12th, and I got to apply to a bunch of other jobs too, and just kind of keep on keeping on and doing all of that stuff. So, yeah, thanks again, and I will see everybody tomorrow. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.